Everybody to the Mtg County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's Monday, November 28th, 2022, 10:30 in the morning. Roll call, please.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Rick Gentry. Tim Atkinson.
Under old business, we have dedication and release of dedication Loblolly Pine Drive. Travis, like that. Yeah. Dedication and release of dedication.
That's correct. This is 2 in 1. So this is a plat that has been prepared. So the only thing left to do on this, Alex and I reviewed it over the weekend. He's doing the legal descriptions. So we will release this 15-foot. And Mr. and Mrs. Gordon has agreed to dedicate this 15-foot. So we maintain a 50-foot right. I went out there and looked at it. All of the utilities on the north side appear to still be remaining in the dedicated roadway. So I don't think we need to say anything in here as far as the utilities having prior rights. And so the only thing left at this point is for the owners to sign the dedication, and then me to sign accepting it, and then you guys to remain the portion, and then you guys release the dedication. So Mr. Gordon's been out of town. He should be back. He is back in town now, and he's going to get with him later today. Hopefully they will sign this document today, and at that point I will sign the accepting the dedication, and then I'll bring it back up here for you guys to sign for the releasing the dedication. So I guess what we need to do is vote that you're good with it pending signatures.
No, I got a good, I just got a call to make sure that where this is ready. It did say, yeah, he's been working with you.
Yep.
And Alex on this, so everything's good to go. You guys have any questions on this? I'll make a motion that we approve the dedication and release of dedication of all Log Pine Drive contingent that the owners, John Gordon and Marjorie Gordon, sign this document. Correct. So that's all we did.
Second. No, you second? Go ahead.
Jim Marlowe.
Okay.
Rick Gentry. Tim Atkinson.
All right, guys, thanks. I'll, once we get this signed, I'll bring it back up here. Alex, and you guys can do what you need to do. All right, thank you.
Next thing under old business is the approval of the phone bid system. I'm still not quite ready to make the final approval.
I want to go through that later, but we'll
Sure.
this up.
Sure. Moving under new business, we have a purchase approval for transport vehicle in the jail. Jail Administrator Todd Hunter was here. And he was at our meeting last time to discuss what the vehicle was for. It's for a 2020
Dodge Durango.
And I think at 49,000.
49,000
miles.
49,600.
The purchase price was about 29,000 and some change.
29,350.
And so we couldn't approve it at the time. It's on under new business now that we can approve it. I did check. I think we do have, I think it was like 125,000 left in capital improvement. So
201. It's actually 201. She got back with me.
okay. So I think that's not going to be a problem. We can just take it out of this year's budget. Yeah, in capital improvement.
So Todd, when that comes in, it will be ready for you to use, or you have to have.
We will have to put a cage in it, a divider cage between the drivers and where the inmates sit. And also, we do everything over at overtime. They install what is called a biohazard seat, which gives more room for transportation. We can transport up to 3, but normally those type of vehicles are for dual transport. So the one we have in this one, we transport a lot of federal inmates and get paid for that. So, to the courthouse up in Benton and in East St. Louis as well. So that's mainly what we use.
You know what that will cost over time?
Around, don't quote me, I'm gonna say around $700-800. I can look on the invoice, but usually those go straight to the sheriff. So I think that can be equipment.
It's all we need is a motion.
So maybe,
But are you gonna motion just this amount? Then we're gonna go ahead and, we're gonna get the rest
I
of the
think the
money.
sheriff has his line item budget.
Sure, okay.
That's why.
Yes, sir, for the installation of the cage and
Right.
the bio seat, yes, sir. That comes out of it.
I know, wait, okay. Okay.
I mean, technically, that's a capital improvement, because you're gonna have.
Yeah, it should be at the
in multiple years.
Yeah.
So we need, you want it out of all of it out of capital?
It's your choice, I mean.
I would take it all.
Take it all off.
I'll take it all.
I mean, it's a capital improvement, it costs.
Instead of 29,350, make it 30, yeah.
Yeah.
That should cover it.
Yeah, so his motion is to do 30,000 on capital improvements for your
Right.
transport vehicle on Saturday.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Brent Gentry.
Yeah,
Tim Atkinson.
There you go. Being that we have our insurance agent here, you can add that one. to our
There's another
list.
vehicle.
Along with that, I think there was one of the drones just purchased or something, I'm not sure how many drones they have over there in the sheriff's office.
Well, we have one, we've been given information on a second drone. We're waiting to get, we need information on operators. The only licensed operator we had was Mr. Murrah, or, the information that we have on file with the insurer. So, we're waiting for Scott to get back with the operator list so we can add the second drone onto the policy.
I think I'll.
And I think there was also, we approved through ARPA, and I don't know if they purchased it yet or not, that incinerator. That mobile incinerator has been used.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's been added to our insurance.
I'm not aware of it.
Okay, so I might make note of that. Okay,
When you have a person, have you? Incinerator?
no,
That
that's
was
just for, that was for the
That's for the,
sheriff's
it's not
office.
for us.
That's for the
That was
sheriff's
for the sheriff's
office.
office.
That was paid through ARPA or bought.
I mean, they haven't bought that either yet, have they? Because I don't think I paid it.
Well, that's what I was just telling you, so
Yeah,
we'll move on.
Yeah, that's fine. If it's acquired after December 1st, it'll automatically be covered for this policy.
Can you email
So,
the invoice?
moving on, we have the Odom Addition
So I can actually
subdivision,
download this.
uh,
On the vehicle?
Yeah. No,
Yes, you gotta be in, bud.
So we're a popular guy. That was good.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you did a good job.
I was new,
Chad is all over.
Dad was, I mean,
What was the
all.
held the room down. Good interview.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another subdivision. It's a single lot, so we're going to get a subdivision that's previously partially done. It's the Odom addition, and there's no new roads. Alex already checked all the legal descriptions, and they're good with it. So at this point, it's ready for, this will go to Alex for signature and Amanda for signature. That everybody's approved everything. It's just a matter of signature. So I'd recommend the approval of the GS.
So,
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Brent Gentry. Tim Atkinson.
All right. That's about everything in there.
That's it, I'm gonna recommend this stuff and give it to Stephanie, please pass it on.
We'll sign that after the meeting.
Is Alex and Amanda normally sign these before you guys do?
No, they signed it first.
They signed it first, okay.
All right. Moving on, the 2022-2023 county insurance
The
program.
Alex.
Okay.
Okay.
He needs to
You
sign.
guys have copies of those, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so on the ICRT package, the premium expense is up about 3% this year. Generally, what we're seeing in commercial insurance right now, just broadly, is increases about 6 or 7%. It's pretty standard in the market right now. Really, this would represent a slight decrease in your costs other than the added exposures that we put on. We've added almost $8 million in values because of the reappraisal, the replacement cost, reappraisals on the county buildings. That by itself would probably raise about $24,000 increase. Cyber insurance is continuing to go up a little bit. There's probably about a $4,000 cyber increase in that somewhere. And then we also have a net increase of 8 vehicles that we didn't have from last year, which would probably be a couple thousand too. So that kind of puts that in that increase in context there. So I think in the absence of those value increases, I think you would have seen a slight reduction in cost this year. And along with that, call it 10, because a lot of your costs are based on claim experience rating. And we're beginning to see a little bit of a reduction in those loss trends, which is a good thing. If you see our total incurred losses for last year, 310,000. The prior year was 650,000. And then if you look at those 3 prior years, you can see why even at this point, your average claim totals are about 850,000 a year. So once we get these, if we can hold these down a little, hold the future down a little bit, if we can get these 2018 to 2019 years on, pushed out of the experience period, I think, reasonably we can expect to see those premium expenses go down a couple $100,000, which is the goal that we're wanting to see. Now, this current year to date looks really good right now. I mean, it's 414,000. Now, it's a little early to look at that. Those things tend to kind of rise up when they mature a little bit. But 220,000, that 414, is the water damage to the elevator in the courthouse building. Okay, so once you back that out, there's very, very little there. And one of the work comp claims that have I think a $66,000 reserve on it is being disputed, and we're trying to, not pay anything on that one. We'll see how that goes. So depending on how those mature, that could end up being, another good year. That we can, kind of bank for the future, and hope that gets back down. On the earthquake, earthquake is up. We've been carrying, last year we went from 35, I'm sorry, back up. The ICRMT program has $10 million worth of earthquake in it. You have about a 67 million property value limit. We've been carrying 35 million excess until last year. We reduced it to 30 million to kind of reduce expense a little bit. This year, that's gone from 45,000 to 54,000. The reason for the increase, again, is those increase in values. It's not just in this particular type of excess insurance. It's not only the amount of limit you buy, it's the underlying exposure. The underlying exposure has risen from 50 million to 67 million, or whatever it is. Then that generates an increase. Now, if we wanted to back that off to 20 million, from 30 million to 20 million excess, I think you'd end up at about the same price as last year. Or there are a number of, I have other options listed to go higher, but I didn't have any listed to go lower. But if you wanted to table this, if you'd be content with the 10 million, for this month, if you'd like me to go back and look at options, lower than the 30 million, I can get firm proposals for that.
That's an insurance that, you on our house, you have to carry it.
You have to
It's
take
just a gamble,
All the money on earthquake insurance so far has been wasted. So.
That's one way of putting it. It doesn't matter, maybe I'm from here, but I think you guys need to wait.
Yeah, but I think, over the years, we've priced this in a lot of places, and I think we by far got the best situation we can find on earthquake, because this insurance company, the West, they are a West Coast insurer that has a lot of earthquake. And they look for ways to offset that with, to get exposure other than California. And so you're in an admitted insurer here that's giving you a 5% deductible, which is really unusual for these types of masonry constructions. Most insurance companies would want you to have a 10 or 15% deductible, and that's of course rated on the value of the buildings, not on the amount lost. So.
The minute we don't carry it on our house, it's not going to damn.
No, that's technical damage.
Yeah.
So the 30 million, okay, that we recovered for, that includes every building that we own.
Yeah, it's on a blanket basis.
Okay.
So you'd have a total of 40 million. You got 10 million with ICRT, 30 million on top of that.
Okay. So let me get this straight. So the 30 million, that's the value of all of our properties combined. If it was a total wide.
The total of all of that property value now is 65.2 million.
Okay, 65. Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
Is
Now,
that
does that
based on
include-
this year's construction costs?
What?
Is that based on this year's construction costs?
Well, the 65 is yes, because we were because we just had a reappraisal. And so I think we were in the 50s before. So it overall went up 8 or 9 million this year, just based on that reappraisal. Yeah.
Now, does that include the Marion Daily building as well?
Yes. Oh, wait a minute. No, the Marion Daily building, I believe, is on the PBC's policy. That building is on the PBC's policy. I don't know why that happened the way it did, but when they
They
bought it.
purchased it on their own, yeah.
Yes, right. So that's on the PBC's policy. And of course, they have insured, they're insured for earthquakes. That's covered.
What do you think?
I think we have to have it.
You want to do this, you're going to go back and down around for another month.
We could do that.
We're okay for a month.
Well, you're okay, you have 10 million if you don't buy this, okay? It's December 1.
So what's the chances not have an earthquake in 30 days?
What's the potential savings between now and a month from now? If we go down in value,
Well, if you decided to buy a lower amount, like I was saying, if you went to 20 million instead of 30 million, then that potentially, I think, would be around 10,000 a year, yeah.
What are you gonna blow the bullet and go on, be done with it?
well, we're talking about 10 grand.
So I would just want to look like what you said.
Yeah, if you decided you wanted to do 20 million instead of 30 million, I could go back to them and just tell them to issue it that way. The only problem is I just don't know exactly to the penny what the cost would be, but I think it would be about 10,000 less.
I think we should just go ahead with this.
Okay.
That's just it.
Yeah, I
That button.
You're not helping.
Sorry, car insurance.
He stands in front of me and says, every penny you spend on earthquake has been wasted.
By everybody so far.
By everybody.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
But
Do you want to be that guy?
but you never know.
No, you don't.
Just
No,
don't be that guy.
no. And, if you do, Even with this, it would be a match.
It gets into the sleep factor.
Right.
So, yeah. So anyway, no, I think we just go ahead and well, it is what it is.
Okay, very good.
That's just me personally.
Let's do it.
Okay, then we just need to
They say chump it, I'm gonna pull it.
approve. I'll make a motion to approve the start number one, the 2022-2023 county insurance proposal.
Second.
Marlo,
Yeah.
Rick Gentry,
Motion that we approve the 2022-2023 excess for equipment proposal.
Marlo,
Yeah.
Rick Gentry, Jackson.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
As much as I want to.
Appreciate your help with this. I know you want us looking at the best interest of the county. Under miscellaneous, I would like to, bring in, Justin Mays on a phone call. We talked about our last meeting about the ARPA money for the e-citation program. And Justin is waiting. He was going to zoom in, but I guess we have problems with our Zoom right now.
It's on now, I mean, he can get on.
Well, so how is, how is their account right now? So before we get this conversation, are they?
Well, so
Okay, thank you.
there's two different e-citation accounts.
No, I mean, how is their overall budget for the year? What's up already? The overall?
I mean,
I think we're just talking about e-sites.
transport e-citation, so, I mean, I don't know, did I tell you there's two different accounts? One, the e-citation.
No, I know
On the trust account is actually somehow with the sheriff's department, and it's only a small amount.
I do know Justin was looking at a different number than what you had mentioned.
Yeah, he has one that's under his purview only that I have nothing to do with and have no knowledge of what the balances are or the monies that go in on a monthly basis or anything.
Okay.
So, I mean, I had that clarified by him because whenever I was telling you the dollar amount, that was based off of.
Yeah, no, I looked at it and it looked like it was only 10 or 15,000 or whatever, but according to him, I think he said he had 100, over 100.
Right.
So,
And I don't know what that money in the trust, that would be something we would have to either ask Kim what the statute is or what, if that money could be combined with what you're wanting to try to do, or if that's, or on the sheriff's side, like what equipment they're gonna have, or how that would work, but, yeah, I guess that was something to clarify if that money's
That
available.
money's all local. Couldn't be federal, any of that would be federal.
Those are all,
They're fines and.
fines and fees. However, that's divvied up, the portion that goes through, none of that's, so your money received through the state or anything like that, those are yours.
Okay, I was wondering why you mentioned whether or not they could be combined. The citation, you talking about,
Well, because my understanding is the one that I have oversight of pertains to the sheriff's office.
okay,
So I don't know if that would have to be whatever equipment would go into like a sheriff's vehicle or within their office that those funds could be used specifically for. And then his money in his office is for whatever, computer programs or setup or
I understand now what you're.
that kind of stuff. So I don't know, I mean, we would need clarification, so that way you can make sure that you can use every dollar that we have before we start, digging into ARPA funds and take that money away from another potential use of it.
Sure.
Justin?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I got you in the meeting here, and we brought you in to discuss the e-citation program again.
Okay.
And I know that you had gave us a proposal a while back. Why don't we revisit that proposal?
Yeah, absolutely. So, let you know how much money I have in my citation account currently. I'll start off from there to give you guys a holistic viewpoint as to where I'm coming from. I've got $136,437.20. And then I had earmarked in my automation $200,000 for the program. I have been in discussions with the incoming sheriff, and so putting together a game plan, because sheriff's office would be extremely instrumental in implementation, as well as being influential to get the other departments throughout the county to buy into this. So that's where I'm at. I know that we had discussed previously with the board about potentially some ARPA money. I don't know what that ends up going to look like, nor do I know that, in fact, we will need it. I am going to be in discussions with one of the Digi-Tickets, which is one of the providers that has the program, and figure out a way to lease the equipment rather than purchasing it. Because the downside to purchasing it over leasing is once you purchase it, if something goes wrong with it, then that's all a sunk cost.
Yep.
Versus if we can lease it, they can, pay for the upgrades, and it'll be a monthly service fee rather than paying one lump sum. So I may be able to amortize my e-citation fund out to pay for all the departments and not even have to touch the ARPA money. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is that I will use my e-citation and then for my automation fund. So we will use, if there is any remaining ARPA funds, that'll be the last resort, so that you guys can probably have better appropriations for the money that my office. I do appreciate you guys considering it, but I would try to be, cognizant and aware of how to make this work for the most, get the most bang for our buck.
What was the name of the gentleman that has the Digi-Ticket? We mentioned his name.
His name is Corey Box.
That's right, Corey Box.
And I can double check that, but.
No, I think that's correct. I spoke with him. I met with him a couple of times over the phone. That always seemed a better route to go in leasing. Because the equipment, it always has a lifespan. It's always being updated. And with the lease, they could provide you with the updates and everything like that. I always thought that, but at the time, we didn't have the money, nor the ARPA, nor the willingness on certain officials to utilize their funds or even bring the whole thing in. So times have changed.
The way I view it is, if I use automation funds, it's going to actually have a great ROI, because it's going to reduce, the amount of workflow for that specific clerk, which they can be reallocated or through attrition, not filling certain vacancies. So it's the more automation and more automated I can make this office,
Sure.
better long term.
Okay.
So.
Well,
Does he know when he might need the money?
He's here in the library.
He said-
So Jesse, you say you may not need ARPA funds at all. You know when you might have that answer, whether or not you'll need ARPA funds?
It's going to take within a month. The incoming sheriff, and we're going to be having a discussion on what that is, because here's the problem is, we don't know if the CAD is going to be cooperative for all the departments. We got to make sure that there's a universal CAD system for the officers use in order to implement and make sure that the system through Digi-Tickets is compatible with that. So, there may be other vendors, which I've reached out on Slime's communication mechanism through the circuit clerk's office, figuring out, hey, what other providers and what other vendors, because something of this magnitude is certainly something that would probably need to be taken to bid. Specifically, if there's more funding used for it, then it's certainly required. So I'm doing my due diligence of getting bids for what the leasing agreement is going to look like, and then I would end up sending that over to you guys, and then we can move forward from there.
Okay, all right. So we'll table this, Jim, until,
sounds good.
yeah, let's just table this. Okay, Justin, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, no problem.
thanks, Justin. Okay, we'll just take-
We'll save.
All right, we do have a travel reimbursement. For Kim Atkinson.
Who is that person? I don't know.
What will be. Says here on the reimbursement form, he attended the UCCI training meeting in Springfield. Dates of the business was 11/14/22. I requested $233.75. So, this will get reimbursed back to the county. So this is just a temporary thing here. UCCI now reimburses mileage, so they will.
This was a zero cost. No cost for the training.
So the,
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Tim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Tim Atkinson.
Abstain.
And like I said, this will be paid by the county, but the county will be reimbursed by UCCI. That's just a wash. Okay, open up the meeting now. Anyone? Alex, I know you didn't have anything.
He's shaking his head.
Apparently I'm late for the plaques.
No, you got signed them.
Alex, she's got the older one right there for your signature. The other one, we're gonna get, Gordon's signatures hopefully today. And then I'll sign it, bring it back over for, give Stephanie to do it.
I think Brent wanted to go back to the phone system.
Yeah, I knew this probably going down the road, but, I thought about that meeting the other day, and a lot of things stuck out to me, and you can either listen or don't listen, doesn't matter, we sent out a 30-line RFP. I've got it on the phone, I read it. It's about as generic as you can get. I don't see how any company that doesn't know the system could bid something like that. It's impossible. I mean, because what you're going to get into, I see it time and time again. Oh, well, we didn't know that, so we're going to add this, and we didn't know this, we're going to add that. It's just like you build a house and, you do these add-ons later. And if they haven't done a walkthrough to see what they're doing, how in the world can anybody bid on it? On a 30-line generic RFP. They should have the right to come through, look at everything, because there's a lot to this, okay? And you're going to have to hit it right, okay? We have jacked around, Jen's been here with me, we jacked around the Corbells and the stands and other people. Disaster. Okay, we turned that corner, things are sailing. Man, I hate to see you guys go backwards. And so then I listened, and I wrote down notes of that meeting. And, the 3CX, one company is a platinum, which means they do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of phones in different places, either the Capitol and whatever. Everybody else said they're a silver, and they've only done probably 30 to 50 phones. I know back in the beginning, weeks ago, I think Jim had talked to, he's not going to mention names, but one company about getting some bids, everybody was scrambling around. We brought the bid to the table, the bid on it, or pass it. Brett said, no, we bid it. So that bid's floating around, okay? And we all had it, we talked about it, public record. That bid's floating around, anybody look at it, and what you gotta do, and to me, that's transparency, but anyway, so that bid is in-house. Tim had brought up something that I'm feel very strongly about too. He said we would keep it within the county, office within the county. Because the tax dollars go all around circles. That was in the RFP. That's what we all agreed on. Then you got the problem with the one that didn't get the references, which is fine because you were out sick. I get it. So what you do is you eliminate that one, eliminate the other one, and you get one that's out of county. You've got one that's the highest. So it says responsible bidder, and from my experience, from the emails and trying to pull teeth to get stuff, some are not responsible. And so all the zigzags going on and one didn't do this, one didn't do that, is that personally, I think you owe it to the taxpayers of the county to let these people walk through here and not apples to apples, because there is no way this 300+ phone system, 230+ phone system, that these smaller guys know what's going on with the county. And I would bet everything I got in my pocket, which isn't a lot, I would bet everything I got in my pocket, that one of them's gonna say, yep, there's my bid. You know what, I didn't know that exists. I didn't know that exists. There's another 20,000. Didn't. Unless you say no higher, period, they won't sign. Every one of them said, I've not even been through to see what's going on. How can you bid a phone job? You don't know what they're looking at. These are little guys, man. They've done 30 to 50 phones. It's the top they've ever done. I'd let them all go to an laundry special darn thing and tell them to give 2 options at least and buy. And I think that due diligence to everybody, because I heard all 3 of them say, well, I'm just kind of winging it here. I really haven't seen everything. How in the world they did? And I know when you asked that one bid, we were scrambling, the sheriff's dropping phones. You know, so we were going to take it somewhere. It was a good bid. But now, there's so many juggling involved.
Yes.
And they even said, how can we bid on this? We don't know where we're bidding. The 30 word
Well, I don't know,
RFP.
I don't know that I heard any of them say that.
Yes, it did. Then we haven't been through it. We don't know what you got. Well, how do you bid on something? I mean, how do you bid on that?
Well, we personally just kind of gave the ideas to
Yeah.
our assistant state's attorney.
Yeah.
And he's the one that developed.
I agree. Generic, very generic.
So, then that was according to him. And that's what.
And I noticed, I read the weekend when anybody in the county all strongly suggested.
There's nobody really used.
I don't know that there's anybody in Williamson County.
Even with our IT, that's not Williamson County. Check goes to Springfield.
The check actually goes to Springfield.
Yeah. That door.
But they have office in Hartford, through Wayne County, right?
Yeah, I would assume those folks live in Williamson County. I don't know.
I don't know. They could live in Jackson, they could live in Johnson, they could live in, I don't know.
But I mean, there's a lot of hodgepodge deals.
Well, I'm not ready. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna make a decision, and I'm just saying.
I'm not ready to make. a
How they
decision.
can make that on a 30 word RFP is just, 30 line work is gonna be fine. So, but if you go, no matter who you go with, I will make sure that you.
I think maybe in
Put
this
down-
instance, since it's voice over internet, if there's internet in the office, they plug the phone in and they go. I think that, so if CDS is doing their job, they've got internet where it's supposed to be, where they've been paid to put it, then it's just simply plugging the phone in and then programming the phone.
Plus with the internet, that would be clear. Clearly provides.
Well, Clearway brings it to the building,
They bring
and
it to the
CDS is the one who has to ensure our network gets.
One thing I do remember is about when it said that Clearway would be a reduction on something.
We'll lose that, the cost of PRI,
PRI.
Yeah.
a little piece of equipment that separates the phone signals.
This is all kind of sticker shock to us all, because we were going from standard phones.
Yeah.
That you just plug in to voice over internet. And now you've got a host and everything. We've never had that. So that's technology we're forced to get into it. That's what everybody has now. And we do know that we're all in agreement to have it posted off-site. In case our internet went down, they could still use their phones. They could still use their, through their phones and everything. So
I would just tell them, guys, that's it. There's no more coming back saying, well, I forgot this, I forgot that. But the 2 words stand out to me is the most responsible bidder. I've had some experience with it. Get there with me, but. Anyway, let's tell you on it.
I appreciate that. We'll certainly take that into consideration. So,
John, just don't know where you make a decision. You can do.
anything from anybody in the crowd? Yes, sir.
Actually, always has some.
I always have something, yeah. So, at my conference that I just went to, I think I sent you text just to let you know, somehow we have $102,000 that we're eligible for from, in the treasury that is somehow ARPA related, but has very little to no requirements in how the money is used.
Didn't say anything about motorcycles.
I gotta look it up. Well, it just says general fund operations is what I think is what they termed it, so, I guess you can decide how loose you wanna be, but, I wanna figure out how to open that portal, and as long as I apply for it by December 31st, we should be eligible for it. So, that could be used, my understanding, for anything.
What date you say, December?
By December 31st, so I'm just sorry about it here. There's reporting, Bellwether said they would do the reporting for $5,000. I don't really know if I want to deal with it, but I also don't know if I want to pay them $5,000 for what could seem to be a one single purchase, perhaps. And it all basically accounted for with a few dollars here and there left over, so I guess we'll see once I read into it what the requirements are. But I think it's just an annual report, not a quarterly like we're going to do now. The other thing, I believe December 13th is the date that Amanda is sending out for all the departments to use current year fiscal funds. So that should be coming out, I think, here very shortly. So that's just something that everybody will be given. Which then leads me into two other things. Marla's getting ready to send out a request for all of the pay scale updates for the upcoming year. I need something, I requested this, but I would love something in writing from you guys as to what office is responsible to pay for what. Like court security, is court security this upcoming fiscal year, are they gonna pay for everything like they did in the past? Gross wages, FICA, unemployment, workers' comp, IMRF, et cetera? Or in order to keep that fund from depleting, do you just want to pay gross wages? I need that to be decided upon, same way with the county clerk's office and circuit clerk's office, assessor and treasurer's office, those special funds that are reimbursing, what are you going to make them do? I think everybody has, well, Man and I are currently paying gross wages only, because we're, eating into our funds.
Circuit clerk,
I think you agreed to
They were looking
drop
at
them down to
adjusting
gross.
some of the fines and fees.
Okay, but I don't know
I
if you
think
addressed
Alex
Alex's.
too. You paid.
Alex paid everything. Alex, circuit clerk and assessor paid everything,
Right.
reimbursed at 100%. So if you want to change that, I would like to have that
Now's the
in
time to
writing.
get that done.
No, so we can get this all done, so we can adjust our claims and format them properly to be able to spit out for all the upcoming payrolls. The other thing I need to know is, when do you guys plan on having a meeting? Because I have several appropriation transfers and issues that I need to bring before you with this current budget. With departments that are over budget, or departments that had contingency funds that may need those contingency funds and may not. And, a lot of these are payroll related items, so it requires a 2/3 vote from you guys to appropriate that money from contingency over. And then the last thing I'm going to ask you to do, and I don't know, because this is, you're going to need an opinion from Rhett, had this conversation in my conference, actually have this going on right now. I like to know if the money is not available in a line item that is salary related, do I have to pay those people?
You mean if you go over office supply or something?
No, I mean, if a budget is over
On payroll.
on payroll, do they have to be paid, or do you tell the office that they need to figure out how to move money from whatever other line items they have available? Or if they don't have that, or they have special funds, are you gonna make them cut you a check and reimburse you for that?
Have you checked with anybody on that yet, on that question?
Well, in my conference, many of the treasurers said that if the money's not there, they don't have to be paid. but you also need to check with your state attorney.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking you.
I thought you were talking about if it's office supplies, labor wise, I bet you had to pay it, but office supplies, stuff like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, any
It all depends.
non-salary related item has to come before you guys if it's over on that.
Yeah.
But I'm asking, you know, if an office is just, I mean, over,
We'll check.
over.
No, I'm just saying you get into union issue, it'd be a disaster, but anyway, but
But when a budget is presented to you guys, it's, you know, or a budget request is presented to you guys, that's based off of a number of employees, their pay, everything. If there's other ancillary things that are outside of that scope, whether it be reimbursement or carryover of benefit time or payout or whatever else, that needs to be brought before you guys so that you can budget for it. Otherwise, I mean, you're just always pulling out a contingency. Well, then if I'm an office holder that has that, it's like, oh, I got a free piggy bank there. And you guys are just out of the luck.
speaking of free piggy bank, just to throw this at you, we had a budget presented to us by an office. They decided to give every employee $1 raise extra. Which the three of you guys are gonna have some serious indigestion coming up as far as labor negotiations on that fiasco. So,
We'll check on that for you.
Okay.
Did you ever figure out when, gonna be sworn in?
Amanda told me December 5th, the Monday.
Monday.
I
Well, at the conference.
It's a conference.
The first.
you know what, it's the sheriff
Our meeting
on the
would be-
first, commissioners are the first week of December.
That's probably, you asked when will we meet next?
I'm gonna stay on that
Either
fifth.
from the 5th on, so.
Excuse me?
Probably meet on that fifth.
Okay. I mean, I'm going through this right now. I'm gonna have, I'll either have a bullet point list or
You
something.
meet on the 5th?
For you guys to, I mean, to
Because
review.
we don't have another scheduled meeting till the 13th. So we probably do need to meet on the fifth.
All right, then we'll set. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, okay?
Actually, you don't say you have one thing, you can three, you realize.
Well, yeah. I mean,
All right.
when I get on a roll, sit back.
Island.
Okay.
All right, we done?
Yep.
I'll make no, we're done. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Marlowe.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right.